Hello, I'm Crackshot. Welcome to Crackshot Chronicles. Today we're going to discuss a gun review. Which gun? The Springfield Armory model 1911 A1. Now, before I talk to you about the gun, let's talk about a little history about it. This gun is the design of John Browning. Back in 1905, he wanted the U.S. Army to have a gun that would hold more rounds than just 6 in a revolver. And they came up with the model 1905, which was a 1911 that did not have this thumb safety right here, or this grip, thumb safety here, or grip safety there. The Army decided, because the gun has to be carried with a round in the chamber and a hammer cocked with the weapon on safe, they felt it was unsafe and that somebody might pick up the gun, pull the trigger, and have an accidental discharge. So they told John Browning to install a safety to prevent an accidental discharge, since the gun has to be carried with a round in the chamber. Well, that's when he decided to take the gun back to the drawing board, and when he invented these two parts here, the thumb safety and grip safety, in 1911, they finally admitted the gun into service for the U.S. Army. The Marines followed, so that the Navy, before you knew it, the gun became extremely popular and was the actual gun for the service pistol for the U.S. military. The gun actually weighs 2.44 pounds empty with the magazine in it. It is 8.25 inches in length from the longest point of the gun, and it is carried by 28 nations nationwide. A lot of people think that the 1911 is a little dangerous to carry with a round in the chamber, but it really isn't. If you notice, when you put the magazine in, chamber the round, it cocks the hammer. You have the thumb in the up position, the thumb safety. When the gun is inside your holster, like this, the first thing you do when you grab the gun is you grab the gun in this manner, and with your hand, you activate that grip safety. Wrap your fingers around the gun, and look where my thumb naturally goes, right there. When I pull the gun out, the act of pulling it out, as I point towards the target, I just slide my thumb down, and I've activated the thumb safety. Up for safe, down for fire. Now all I got to do is pull trigger, and the gun goes bang. Once it goes bang, the slide goes back and forth under recoil. The gun resets the hammer. I reset the trigger by letting it go and pull the trigger again, and it does this until it is empty. It is one of the best guns in the world, simply because it can fire extremely accurate, because the trigger doesn't move the gun very much as you pull the trigger, like it would, say, on a striker fire or a revolver. They have long, gritty trigger pulls, and even if you polish them and make them smooth, you have a higher probability of moving the sights off targets when you pull the trigger than you do with a 1911. The 1911 has the best trigger system in the world, in my opinion, and it also has the best ergonomics on the grip. These two features makes the 1911 the most valued gun in competitions like IDPA and pistol action shoots and such. If you go to any competition, you will see that those are the guns. The guns that are winning these competitions are all 1911, for the most part. Is this a gun that I would recommend for somebody to be able to defend himself if they've never carried a gun? I probably would not. Although you can be trained to use it effectively, I would rather you start out with a revolver until you got used to recoil management and manipulating of the gun safely. Then you can step up to a 1911. There are a lot of people who will tell you any gun with a thumb safety or an external safety is not good for a novice shooter, because in a life or death situation under stressful times, you will forget to disengage the safety, and you will pull the trigger while the safety is still on, and you get this, nothing. Well, I say phooey to that, because if you can drive a full-size car down the interstate at 70 miles an hour and somebody cuts you off and you know how to, under a stressful situation, you're able to recover from a potential crash, then you should be able to negotiate the fact that when you grab the gun and you pull the gun out of the holster, all you have to do is slide your thumb down, and that makes the gun ready to be fired. So, how do you disassemble this gun for cleaning? Well, let's see. All you have to do is make sure the gun is safe. It is. There's no ammo in it. Hold it like this. Push down this little plunger. When you push the plunger, you rotate the barrel bushing. You can now take out the plunger. You can now take out the spring. You can now rotate the barrel bushing in the opposite direction and pull out the barrel bushing. As you can see, now there's no barrel bushing. You have the slide release. You just pull the slide to the rear until that first teeny tiny little notch lines up with the slide release. Once the slide release is done, there's a little button on this back side that is attached to this slide release lever. Push it up, and by you pushing it up, let me see if I can get this thing lined up right. It pops out just a little bit. Take your fingernail underneath, pull out the slide release. Now all you gotta do is pull these two parts out. Take out the plunger. Slide it down. Pull out the barrel. Use a toothbrush, cleaning brush to clean this with your favorite cleaning compound. Clean in here, clean in there. Grab the receiver, clean in there. Clean all the parts, all metal parts. Remove all carbon. Leave it with a light coat of oil to reassemble. You just take this part here. I don't know if you could see this part. You see this little ring here? This is very important that you understand what this little ring is for. What it does is it lines up with the barrel. Now, what you want to do is you want to lay it down this way so it slides down. Slide the barrel in. Once you slide the barrel in, you take this part here, the 1911. If you notice, the one side of the spring is loose, the other side of the spring is tight. You want to use a part that's tight so it stays in place. Take that part, run it through here. There is, if you notice, it has like a U-shaped part here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can show you. Where's the camera lens? There, see that U-shaped part? You want to line up this U shape right here with the barrel, the shape of the barrel. So that way it fits in there nice and snug, like a male and female end. Now you slide that in there just like this. Make sure this little loophole is lined up in this fashion. I don't know if you can see that. Right there. You can see how it's up. And then so just right there, you want it right in that position. Once you have it in that position, take the receiver, line it up. Line up the holes. It's going to see there's 3 holes you got to line up through there. Push this through. Slide this to the second hole right there on the receiver. And there, lock that in place. That's locked. Put the barrel bushing in. I mean the plunger in. Take the barrel bushing. Put it in the hole. I don't know if you can see that here. Drive this plunger all the way down, and the gun is assembled and ready to fire. So, with the 1911, a lot of people out there are critics of it because they feel it's got too many safeties and it's confusing. Well, I say, phooey, training will overcome all these implements. Is it better to have a gun that does not have any safeties? Yes, because it's more simple. But with training, you can overcome it. Other people criticize the 1911 because it only holds 7 rounds. They're right. 7 rounds in the magazine. You could put 7 rounds in the magazine, put the magazine in, rack the slide, so you have now round in the chamber. Take the magazine out and put in another bullet, and now you have 7 in here and 1 in the tube. That makes 8 rounds. If you want more, Chip McCormick makes a 8-round magazine. So now you can have 8 in the magazine and 1 in the pipe, which makes it 9. If that's not enough for you, they also make a 10-round magazine. Now you got 10 plus 1. That's 11. If you can't stop somebody with 11 rounds, you're doing it wrong. And you can't shoot worth a plugged nickel. you might as well get some training or get yourself a baseball bat. So, is the 1911 the kind of gun that I would recommend a novice? No, it is too complex. But if the person really wants a 1911 and they're willing to put the effort to train, dry fire, and what I mean by dry fire does not mean just pulling the trigger. It also means pulling it out of the holster, lining up your sights, getting proper stands, manipulating the gun, mastering the gun. If you do that, yes, it will work. I learned how to shoot with a 1911 when I was in the Marine Corps. That's the first handgun I ever fired. I had no experience at all whatsoever. Today, I can qualify as a weapons expert with the handgun if I do my part. So it didn't take me 20 years to do it because I only had 5 days to train myself on how to work this gun with of course somebody trained me, and then qualify. If I can do it, anybody else can do it. And I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. So, this is the basic gun review for the 1911. This one here has been modified extensively. It used to be the 1911 Retro. I replaced the sights, lowered the ejection port, flared out the ejection port, replaced the trigger with a Wilson Combat Speed trigger, replaced the thumb safety with a Wilson. Actually, that's the original safety. I just removed the parkerizing because I thought it looked cool. But I did replace the hammer. It was a regular spike hammer and this is a commander style Wilson Combat hammer and a Wilson Combat grip safety. The barrel bushing was also polished to make it look silver. I just like the looks. And I replaced the grips with these ivory. I also beveled out the magazine well so that I won't have any problems with jamming the magazine trying to get it in the quick reloads. This particular gun, people say it's a piece of crap and it jams. Well, this one has fired over 25,000 rounds and I've only had 6 malfunctions. 3 of them, I blame it on this particular ammo, Tula ammunition, Russian ammunition, because the Bernadine primers was so hard, it failed to ignite the round. The other 3, there was 3 with this, and the other 3 was my fault. I limp wristed. Limp wristing is when you hold your wrist limp, and the gun is allowed to bounce around any way it wants. Any semi-automatic is going to jam stovepipe or double feed if you do that, because you are robbing the energy, the momentum from the slide as it goes back and forth when you fire. It's required to be able to function. So if you have limp wrist, that's why I recommend get a revolver, because you won't have to worry about limp wristing. That's pretty much it for the 1911. This one here is a 1911 A1. If you like this video, please hit subscribe. Also, please comment or like and share it. I do appreciate you taking the time to view this video. Again, please subscribe so that I can grow my channel. Thank you so very much for watching. Have a good evening.